Here are just a handful of reasons why you guys should not just buy games physically for the Nintendo Switch, but you should definitely get them digitally as well, especially the games that are the most fun and might be a little bit smaller in storage size, but games that are really fun that you're able to go back to and play and enjoy, revisit. Games like Super Smash Bros, Kirby Air Riders, even Mario Kart World, and I'm sure a lot of you already have the digital version since most of those are being bundled with the Nintendo Switch 2 console. But games like that, Metroid Dread, that might be another good one, but really fun games that are just really good to go back to and revisit. You guys should definitely not only get the game physically, but you should also purchase it digitally as well. And there's several reasons for this. Here's the thing. If you actually truly care so much about physical copies and preservation and all that, then you'd be crazy not to get these games digitally as well. Now you're probably thinking, well, how does that make any sense? Here's how it makes sense. When you go and you travel, when you go camping, when you do things like that, and you bring your Nintendo Switch 2 console with you because you want to play it in handheld, if you guys get these games digitally, you don't have to bring them with you and risk losing them. You know, I think it was Kit from the Kit and Krista podcast or whatever. He had they had went traveling or whatever, and it was probably to Japan. And then when he came back, or when he got to the airport, he realized he was missing. I think he was missing a game or two, maybe more. And that's a real shame, you know, to lose a physical game like that you paid money for. That really sucks. So, you know, you can mitigate that problem by just downloading the game again digitally, you know, instead of doing this whole ordeal where you buy these cartridge cases or whatever, so that way you can carry all these games with you so you can play them. It's like, well, just download the games that you know you're going to play, that you know are always fun to revisit, like Super Smash Bros, like Kirby Air Riders. Just download those games digitally as well, and only take one physical cartridge with you that you keep inside of the Switch 2 at all times. So in my case, it would be like I keep Metroid Prime 4 inside the case or inside the game, in case, you know, I haven't beaten it yet, but I'll have Kirby Air Riders readily available at all times. I'll have Super Smash Bros readily available at all times. Splatoon 3, that's another one that I had recently downloaded. I have that readily available at all times. And recently I've been doing that a lot. I've been playing Metroid Prime 4, and once I would get a little bored of it, I mean, not saying it's a boring game at all, but definitely not as fun as the other games that I mentioned. Once I get a little bored of it, it's like, okay, I played this for 2 hours, let me X out and let me go straight to Splatoon 3 or Kirby Air Riders. That's what I've been doing a lot of lately. And that's kind of how I've always played games my whole life. I would play one game, have a lot of fun, and once I got a little bored or I exceeded my excitement with the game, then I would just switch out to another fun game that's completely different. And I still do it to this day, and it's great that the Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 make it possible to where you can download these games and have them there at all times. So it's really in your best interest to download a game digitally. I know you're thinking, well, now I'm paying twice for the game. Well, you know what? It's better to do that than to buy a whole bunch of other games that you may not really play that much of. And a lot of people do this. A lot of people will buy, freaking like 5 or 10 indie games and one big, you know, awesome AAA game or AA game, or maybe a few of those and a bunch of other indie games. Like, a lot of you guys tend to, and this was something I've been guilty of too, but I got a little bit smarter when it comes to video games. Since I don't play that much of it, I just started saying, you know what? I only need the big first party Nintendo games, and not all of them, like 90 to 99% of them, because there's going to be one where I'm just like, yeah, don't care about that, you know? I don't care about Princess Peach Showtime. Don't care about Echoes of Wisdom, even though I did get that one. But, you know, there's going to be those type of games, those AA games or lower budget games that really aren't worth like picking up or worth your time. And I won't really bother with those, but I'll definitely get the big fun games like Age of Imprisonment, Kirby Air Riders, Super Smash Bros. I'll definitely get those type of games. And you know what? It's only going to be about maybe 8 to 10 games a year, maybe 12 games a year. Nintendo typically will have 1 or 2 great must-have games every month, or they'll have about at least 10 a year. So you only really need to get just those few games that are really fun, that are worth playing. And now you have all this other money. You have a bunch of other money left over to now get the game again digitally, if it's the type of game you're going to keep on revisiting. Again, I'm not saying you have to get every single game digitally as well, because, well, you'll probably fill up the storage size, and yeah, it's not like you're going to you're going to revisit every single game. Just focus on getting the ones that are the most fun, that have the most content. Again, Kirby Air Riders being the best example. Super Smash Bros., which is basically made by the same person, being a very good example. Splatoon 3 is a game I highly recommend people get if you hadn't gotten that game already. Super fun. Has like multiple different story modes and adventure modes in it. Then it's got the regular. It's got multiple different multiplayer modes, and then it's got this other one called Salmon Run. It's like you're surviving waves of giant, zombie-like salmon or something. That's a very fun mode. But obviously people want to own their own physical copy of these games, and that's great, and I'm all for that. But at the same time, I don't think that digital is like all that bad, and I think digital is great for helping you preserve those physical games. You don't want to have to take those physical games with you on the go and risk losing them. Now, besides the fact that digital can help you, can minimize the risks of you losing your games physically, another great reason is because when you download these games to your internal storage of the Nintendo Switch, they actually run and perform way better than on just a normal cartridge. This is something that has been stated and established. Games will run better when they are downloaded directly to your hard drive. So that's just another good reason. I downloaded Kirby Air Riders once I had picked up Metroid Prime 4, and boy, it runs great. I mean, it was always running great, even just on the cartridge alone. That's how great the game is, but it runs freaking amazing just digitally there on the hard drive. So games actually do run way better when you download them to the actual hard drive of the console. And guess what? The Nintendo Switch 2 does have 256 gigabytes of storage, and that's a lot. That's a lot. And you know what? Nintendo are the masters of making sure that their games don't have too much storage in them. They're really good at condensing the file sizes of their video games. So a great game like Kirby Air Riders, you would think with all the content that's inside of that game that it'd be like, I don't know, 40 gigabytes or whatever, but no, it's only like 25 gigabytes for that game. So you can easily end up getting, if there's like, let's just say theoretically you got 10 awesome games, and these are the kind of games you always revisit, you always go back to, then you can download those 10 games. You might be able to download all 10 of those games and still have a little bit of storage left. So, and of course, I think you can always like just uninstall a game if you want to play another one or whatever, as long as you got Wi-Fi and whatnot. But yeah, in my opinion, you only need maybe 5 or 10 great games to be downloaded to play at all times. And thankfully, the Switch 2 does have the storage for all of that. By the way, if it sounds like I'm winded, that's just because I got done working out. So anyways, besides that, another great reason to get games digitally as well? Well, the most obvious reason is just the fact that it's so convenient to play your games, you know. Like I stated earlier, I had purchased Kirby Air Riders physically. Once Metroid Prime 4 came out and I got that game physically, I went ahead and I downloaded Kirby Air Riders, and I decided to do that so I can, you know, once I get a little bit bored of playing Metroid Prime 4, instead of having to take Metroid Prime 4 out of the Switch, I simply just close out the game and go straight to Kirby Air Riders. And then I did the same thing with Splatoon 3. I went ahead and downloaded that game digitally just to do the same thing so I could play and enjoy that game. So yeah, there's the convenience of it. There's the fact that you don't have to worry about losing these games physically. Now you could sit there and say, well, I mean, these games cost $70, so now it's like you're paying $140 for one game. It's like, okay, well, that's true, but what if you lose that game physically when you go out traveling? You lose that game physically, now you have to buy another one. So now you just lost a game that was $70 and now you gotta pay $70 again just to get that game again. Now, I don't know about you, but I think I'd rather pay $140 and have a physical and digital copy of the game that I can play at all times, as opposed to paying $140 because I lost a damn game and I had to buy it again. Now you tell me, do you think that's better than just buying the game physically and digitally as well? No, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's much smarter for you to get the game digitally as well. You get the game digitally as well, and it just enhances your overall gaming experience. And because the Nintendo Switch is a hybrid console, unlike Xbox and PlayStation, it's really smart to do this. So, anyways, I want you guys to let me know what you think. Are there other reasons to do this besides the convenience, besides the fact that it's going to help preserve your physical games, besides the fact that it runs better when it's downloaded to the hard drive of your system? If you guys got more to add to that, well, let me know. Let me know in the comments below. With that being said, I will talk to you guys later. Actually, guys, before I go, there's just a couple more reasons why it's really good and why it's really smart to buy digital versions of your physical games as well, for the Nintendo Switch 2, that is. First of all, you have on the Nintendo Switch 2, you have 256 gigabytes of storage in there. So you paid all this money for the entire console and to get that, right? So why not make use of all of that? Why just, buy a bunch of games physically and now you have all this, you have like 256 gigabytes of storage just sitting there not being used. Make use of it. Make the best use of it instead of just buying some indie games or whatever that are probably fun to play for like 20 minutes or something. Just re-download or repurchase whatever AAA games you enjoy playing and get that, downloaded digitally, right? Make good use of that storage and just get, get some of your favorite games that you keep revisiting. Get those games digitally and just make good use of that storage. Here's one final reason. Not only are you buying the game physically, right? But when you download those games, you get those games off the eShop, that's even more money going into Nintendo's pocket. So here's the thing. If you really love these games so much, if you appreciate all of the work that the developers put into making these really awesome games that are so fun, you would want them to keep making more of these games, right? You would want the game developers to get rewarded, and you would also want Nintendo to be able to make more money off of those games to keep making more of those awesome games. So if you buy the game physically and then you get it again digitally, that's more money for them, which means they're gonna add more content to that video game, maybe more DLC expansions and things like that to make the game even bigger and more fun for you guys to play. And on top of that, you're probably gonna be guaranteed a sequel to that video game, or you're probably gonna get another awesome video game from that very same studio, whatever studio it is that made that game from Nintendo. So just a couple more reasons you should definitely buy these games physically and digitally, especially the ones that are the most fun to play, the most fun to revisit. So anyways, yeah, I think that's all about all that I got for this video. And if you guys agree or disagree, just let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like. Don't forget to share this video, share it with your friends, share it with anyone who has a Nintendo Switch too, so that way they can, you know, get this great message and they can enhance their gaming experience. And as always, I will talk to you guys later.